Just so we started with different types of product applications. First, we covered IND, and we understood that IND is the first step before you can start any clinical trials, phase one, phase two, phase three. And after the approval of IND, you can start the clinical trials. And after the clinical trials are completed, you can file your new drug application along with the CMC data, PV batches and submission batches data, and stability data. Okay. And NDA also is of two types. One is the full NDA, 505B1, and other one is 505B2 type of NDA. Okay. In 505B2, we are not the exact innovators, but we are just we are making some modification in the innovator product. So
Yeah.
that is called as 505B2. And similar application in Europe is known as hybrid application. When we learn Europe market, then I will tell you that this hybrid application is comparable to US FDA's 505B2 application. So this is about NDA. Then we saw ANDA. In ANDA, you don't have to do any clinical trials except for solid oral products where you have to do a bioequivalence study. We also understood the 180 days generic exclusivity, wherein the generic manufacturer or generic sponsor challenges any of the patents uh, which has been submitted or approved for the innovator product.
Yeah. Sir, what is
And
the difference between the like ANDA and the 505(b)(2)? Because the sponsor, like the innovator, may complain that how can you use the same product when I have the patent? So how come 505(b)(2) will claim that patent?
505B2 and ANDA is different. 505B2 in ANDA, you make an exact copy of innovator product, same dosage form, strength, route of administration, and quality. While in 505B2, you either change dosage form, strength, route of administration, or indication. This is how it is different. And uh, when it comes to generic exclusivity, uh, that exclusivity is for generic products, not for 505B2, because 505B2 will have its own different exclusivity because it is an
Yeah.
NDA.
Yeah. Sir,
So
I have a doubt. Like, for example, if the same condition applies, then why need the generics need to wait till 20 years of patent when there is 505(b)(2) application? Like, they can claim it by some or the other way that they can release the product. Because you got
yeah,
my point, I think. Yeah.
yeah, but in 505B2 also, you have to wait for the API patent to get over, because
Okay.
you can bypass formulation patent. Suppose the innovator has patent on the tablet dosage form. In
Yeah.
505B2, you are bringing capsule dosage form. So you have been able to bypass that tablet formulation patent. But there is another patent, the most basic patent is the API patent. The API itself also has patent. So any
Okay.
other company who is not the owner of that patent cannot bring 505B2 also until that API patent is finished.
Okay.
Okay,
So the
so
same condition applies for the ANDA as well, because of course they have to wait. I think I think for ANDA, all the patents must be like finished in order to develop the
yes,
same formulation. But
correct.
if at all you have that power to develop a formulation bypassing all the patents that you have, then only you can get 505(b)(2)
Uh, yes,
or one or two after expiring the patent.
yeah, one or two. So suppose there is one tablet, rosuvastatin tablet. Crestor is the
Yeah,
brand. Okay,
yeah,
so the innovator has multiple patents: API patent, formulation patent, use patent. Use means indication patent. So
yeah,
in 505(b)(2), only five formulation patent can be bypassed. API
yeah,
patent, use patent will not be bypassed. So
yeah,
505(b)(2) also has to wait. So
yeah,
uh, the only patent is which is not applicable for 505(b)(2) is the formulation one.
yeah,
But here in the case of generic, all the patents will apply. And if any of the patents is falsely claimed as an innovation, then generic company
yeah,
can claim for this 180 days generic exclusivity.
yeah. Yes, sir,
Suppose
got it.
a generic company came with a 505(b)(2) capsule dosage form. So along with the
Yeah,
innovator, that 505(b)(2) owner will also get some exclusivity. There are 6 or 7 different types of exclusivities in provided by US FDA. NC exclusivity,
okay.
then orphan exclusivity.
Yeah.
There are different 6, 7 types. I will explain you that as well.
Saujanya, please switch off your mic when there is lot of background noise.
Sure, sir, sure.
Yeah. But whenever you have a query, you can unmute temporarily and then again mute.
Sure, sir, sure.
Yeah. So this is how the entire IP strategy works like. So we saw that BLA is for biologic products regulated by CBER and under the PHS Act, and it is specifically for biologics. The BLA is of two types. Entirely new molecule will fall under 351A, totally new innovative molecule. While a similar copy of the innovator, if we are bringing, then it will be 351K. That is similar to a generic application for small chemical entities. So this is not called a generic, but it is called a biosimilar. Okay. So this was BLA. Now we come to the next type of applications. Today's topic is the first one is the over-the-counter drugs, OTC drugs. Now, as we are aware, in India or in any other country, there are certain drugs which can be obtained from the pharmacy store without the need of the prescription, because generally those drugs are well established and have a great safety and efficacy profile, like phenyl, uh, chlorpheniramine, or famotidine, cimetidine, paracetamol, ibuprofen, all such older molecules which are used for general symptoms are classified under OTC category under in different regulations. Similarly, in the US market also, OTC drugs are available. So now, if you are a manufacturer or a sponsor of OTC category drugs, so how will you get the approval of your drugs? That is our topic. So OTC drugs can be registered via two different registration pathways. First one is drug application process. Second one is OTC drug review process. So there are two processes. First one is a long process. Second one is a shortcut process. Okay, in brief, very quick process. In drug application process, you have to file either NDA or ANDA. That means normal prescription drugs, the way they are filed, they are submitted. Same way if your OTC drug is an innovative drug, first time coming to the market, then you have to file NDA. But if your drug is a generic, either a generic of OTC or a generic of innovator or generic of prescription drug, then you have to file ANDA for that drug. Okay, so it's similar as prescription drug, same data, same bioequivalence study, same stability, everything is same. Only few additional studies are required for OTC products if we are going through drug application process. Okay, so which additional studies? Label comprehension study, self selection study, actual use study, human factor study. These all studies are not clinical trials. These studies are a kind of survey. Okay, whenever you might have filled some survey form, there are 10 to 15 questions or 20 questions. You have to fill the answers of those questions, and based on that, the company will prepare a database and will get the customer feedback. Similarly, whether the label and artwork or carton, everything is clear to the patient or not. For that, some survey studies are done, like label comprehension, self-selection, actual use, and human factor study. That means through these studies, US FDA will identify whether the patient can himself select the product at the pharmacy, because these products do not require prescription. These have to be self-selected by patients. Suppose you have cold and you want to take levocetirizine. So at the pharmacy, you will go and ask for levocetirizine. Then the label should be clear enough so that you understand the contents, you identify the risks involved, and the dosage, the indication, everything. Then only FDA will allow that product to fall under OTC category. So these are some survey studies. If you want to go in depth of these studies, then there will be separate guidances on the US FDA's website. But if you want to understand just the what is the concept, so then as I explained that these are just survey kind of studies, whether the patient is able to self-select, do the label comprehension, like in English exam, we had that comprehension. There was whole paragraph and there were 4 or 5 questions at the end. We have to read the paragraph and give answers of those 4 or 5 questions. And then our reading ability and understanding ability was evaluated in English exam. Similarly, the patient has to read the entire label and then they have to answer certain queries, that how much is the maximum dose, how many maximum tablets you can take, what can be the side effects, if you find the side effects, what will you do. Such kind of questions will be there. That is known as label comprehension study. Okay, and then the survey of actual use, self-selection. Okay, in self-selection study, maybe they are putting different kinds of medicines across the shelf and asking the patient to select whether they are able to select by themselves or not. Then human factor studies. This is a whole different guidance in US FDA, that how human psychological factors may impact the selection of the OTC drug. So in addition to the normal stability data or CMC data, pharmaceutical development, some labeling studies or surveys have to be performed by the sponsor to get the approval. So this is the normal application process of the OTC drugs. Now we come to the special process in which you don't have to submit the dossier. No dossier. You can directly start supplying or selling. Okay. So how will you know that your drug falls in this category? OTC drug review process. Products can directly be marketed. Okay. How will you come to know? So you have to follow this link. Now I will try to show you this link. On the US FDA website. There are different categories of OTC products mentioned here. Suppose the drug that you want to sell in the US falls in any of these categories, like if your drug is antacid, then you will open the antacid PDF. Within the antacid PDF, you will find the API names, that means drug names that fall under this category. Bismuth carbonate, magnesium aluminum silicate. Okay, all these antacids, inorganic antacids, fall under this category. So what you have to do to identify that your drug falls in this category or not, you have to go to OTC monograph and select the category of your product, and in the list you have to find out whether your drug is there or not. Okay, and if it is there, then you don't have to prepare a dossier. What you have to do is you only have to comply with certain requirements. You may note it down. First requirement, that your uh, your plant must be US FDA approved. Okay. First criteria, your plant should be US FDA approved. Second criteria, in this PDF itself, there are some labeling requirements mentioned. That how will you mention the indication of the product on the label? How will you mention the warnings? What warnings do you need to mention? Direction for use, drug interaction. If you comply to all these requirements in your labeling, then you comply with the second point. First point is complying with the US FDA GMP requirements. Second requirement is complying to this individual monographs labeling requirements. Third requirement is you have to do drug listing. Okay, drug listing is a process where on which portal do we do drug listing, Pranav? Do you remember? Drugs at FDA, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the third thing is you have to do is list your drug. It's just a simple file. You have to prepare an XML file. It's like filling a form, and it will have your drugs details like indication, active ingredients, manufacturing site, and some basic details. And you have to upload that on FDA's particular portal, drugs at FDA.
So,
And then,
sir, to add, what we will do, we will prepare that SPL file of the labels,
yeah,
and we will transmit that via FDA Next Gen portal, and
okay,
it will be automatically listed on the drugs and FDA, drugs at FDA.
okay. So it has to be done through next gen portal, right? Hmm. Okay, okay. So Saujanya, there is one US FDA's portal, FDA Next Gen portal. There are several portals, CDR Direct, CDR Next Gen. Okay. So on Next Gen portal, we have to submit that form, and then your drug will appear on the drugs at FDA website. Once your drug appears in, this takes only one day. You upload today, it will appear tomorrow, I think. So it does not require long process like dossier submission, approval, 12 months, 18 months, not like that. You just list it, next day it will appear, and then you can start exporting to the US. Okay, so first thing
Uh,
you will do, yeah, madam.
Sorry, sir, I will correct. We filed with EHG portal. Sorry, not NextGen portal.
Okay, ESG portal
Yeah, yeah. So NextGen portal is basically used to
for
apply
control
for that
correspondent,
ANDA number or NDA number.
NDC number
Yes,
and control correspondence and all.
yes.
Yeah. So it's just there is another portal, Saujanya, ESG portal. This file has to be submitted on ESG portal, and it will appear on drugs at FDA. So basically, you are doing just three steps. You are ensuring that your plant is FDA approved. Second, you are ensuring that your labeling is compliant to this PDF. Third thing, you are just listing your drug. So as soon as you list the drug at ESG portal, you can start exporting it to the US. So when the custom officer or anybody will check your shipment arriving at the US port, they will open the drugs at FDA website and check whether your drug is listed or not. If they find that your drug is listed, then they will allow the shipment to be distributed to the US. So this is the process of OTC drug distribution. Okay. You can have a look at this website. There are several categories of drugs coming under OTC category, like cold, cough, allergy, bronchodilator. If you go inside, you will further notice the names of the APIs, like antihistamines. Antihistamines will fall in this category. Okay, bronchodilator drugs will fall in this category. So all these will be OTC drugs. Okay, and these are the API names like brompheniramine, chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine. All these drugs can go without dossier submission. So, so if your drug, OTC drug, is not found in these OTC monograph, then definitely you have to go through drug application process. Okay, which is longer. So always it is preferable to have those OTC drugs which are in the monograph. Okay, and these drugs are also listed on the Orange Book. Prescription as well as OTC drugs are listed on the Orange Book. I will show you later once we complete this. So there are two types of OTC regulatory pathways. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Now we summarize the entire all five types of applications in this table. IND, NDA, ANDA, BLA, and OTC. So for type of product, which type of product IND will be filed? For new research product, IND will be filed, where we want to conduct the clinical trials. After that, there is NDA for which type of product? For new chemical entity, NDA is filed. For generics, ANDA is filed. For biologics, it may be new or generic biologic or similar biologic. It will be BLA only. No ABLA like this. Only BLA, 351A or 351K. And for OTC, new or generic products that don't need a prescription will fall under OTC category. So the first row mentions which product will need which category of filing. Which department within US FDA reviews this? So IND is reviewed by either CDER if it is a small chemical or CBER if it is a biologic molecule. IND is applicable to both small chemicals as well as biologic. So whenever you want to start a clinical trial, it may be a small molecule new product or a biologic new product. You have to file IND only. Okay. Uh, NDA obviously is reviewed by CDER. CDER is for small molecules. ANDA is also for by CDER. CBER, Center for Biologic Evaluation and Research, reviews BLA. And OTC is also reviewed by CDER because till now all the OTC products are non-biologic. Biologic products are not given OTC status. All are small molecules. So CDER only reviews the NDA or ANDA of OTC category as well. What data do you need to submit in an IND? You have to submit non-clinical data, animal studies, CMC data, that means manufacturing control and chemistry data, clinical protocols, as discussed earlier, that whatever clinical studies that you are going to perform, all those clinical protocols you have to submit in an IND. Suppose you want to conduct 5 clinical studies, then all those 5 clinical protocols you will submit in IND. After you have completed those 5 clinical trials, then you found that you need another 2 trials based on the results of 5 trials, then again you have to submit IND. So you can start clinical trials only for those protocols that you submitted in IND. Otherwise, new IND has to be submitted. And in NDA, you will submit non-clinical, that means animal studies, clinical trial data, CMC and labeling data. That means module 1 to module 5, everything. In ANDA, no clinical data, only BABE studies, CMC data, no animal studies also, and labeling data. In BLA, clinical data, BAB is not required. In fact, a clinical study comparing the biosimilar to the innovator is required. Then CMC and labeling data. And in OTC, it depends on type of application. If it is an innovative OTC, then all the NDA data has to be submitted. If it is a generic OTC, then BAB, CMC, and labeling data is required. Okay. Which section under the Act follows this application? For NDA, there are 2 sections, 505B1 and 505B2 under the Drugs and Cosmetic Act. For ANDA, the section number is 505J under the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, FD, Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, sorry. And for BLA, there is PHS Act, okay. Public Health Safety Act, section number 351A and 351K. These drugs are listed in Orange Book. ANDA are listed in Orange Book. BLA products are listed in Purple Book. And OTC products are listed in Orange Book or OTC monograph. So I will show you how Orange Book looks like.
Sir, I have few doubts.
Sorry?
Yeah, I have few doubts. So am
Yeah,
I
tell me.
audible, sir?
Tell me.
So actually, we just know about the microdosing phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So where does the BAB comes under?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Yeah, like basically we do the BA studies on humans.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but there are just phase one, phase two, phase three, and phase four. So how do we categorize this BAB into?
Yeah, BAB is also one type of clinical study. It is
Yeah.
considered clinical study. You may consider it to be maybe a phase two study, pharmacokinetic study.
Okay. So, phase two. Okay. Pharmacokinetic.
Yeah,
Sir, I think there are separate format to submit phase one, phase two, and phase three. Like as per my knowledge, in as per Indian guidelines, it is separate. Like for submitting the clinical trials. But what about the BAB? Like how do we consider submitting it as? Does it have any separate format or?
no, no. In the US, there is no separate format. All these clinical trials or BAB studies, everything goes into Module
Yeah.
5. Okay. Within Module 5, there are different sections like
Okay.
5.2, 5.3, 5.4. Okay. Within
Yeah.
5.2, 5.3 also there are subsections. So BAB study
Yeah.
fits into 5.3.1.2 section
So
number.
what about the remaining sections that we don't use because we are not conducting one, three, and
Yeah,
four?
we keep them empty, not required.
Okay, sir.
In the
Okay.
ECTD, we will only fill those sections where we are putting some data. Where there is nothing,
Sure.
we don't put anything. Like 5311 may be different kinds of pharmacokinetic studies, phase one, phase two. But we
Yeah.
only use in generic 5312. And the report has to be according to ICH E6 requirements.
Okay, sir.
The ICH E6 has the format, provides the format how a clinical trial report should be prepared. So clinical trial report as well as BAB study report has to be according to ICH E6 guideline.
Yeah. So what is labeling data? Because I never come into this like across this because I'm working completely into the technicality. I never even touched the topic of labeling data. And if
Yeah,
I had to learn something about it, we call it as pill as far
yeah,
as I know. Like
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
what do I consider learning something about this? Because when we say labeling, I have to know something. And there
yeah,
are
yeah.
separate class of set of people who do only the labeling,
Got it, got
like regulatory labeling something. So
it. Yeah.
what do they do and what do I have to learn about it?
See, labeling for the US market is the toughest. I mean, most in time taking. Okay. For Europe also it
Yeah,
is tough. The tough part in Europe
yeah,
is the local languages. Like in Germany, you have to do German language. In France, you have to do French. So for US in the dossier, what information is required in the labeling part, that I will just briefly tell you. And
yeah,
uh, what do the labeling people do within regulatory affairs? The separate
yeah,
labeling team, that also I will tell you. Okay, so
yeah,
in the labeling portion, you have to submit various documents. First is you
yeah,
have to submit for a generic, you have to submit the innovator labeling also. That means whatever
yeah,
PIL of innovator, patient information leaflet, that you have to download and submit in your dossier. You can obtain it from website fda.com or also from the innovator product that you purchase for BE studies. So that you have to submit. Also, apart from that, you have to submit the artworks. The uh, it's a mock-up of how your carton will look like. Okay, how your label will look like. So let me show you if I have any US dossier. Just a minute.
Okay, sir. Sir?
Yeah, yeah. I will
Yeah, sure.
share.
Presenting something. Okay.
No, no, I will
Let's
share
check.
the screen.
Sure, sure, sure.
See, here I'm showing you the image of mockup. Okay, this is the mockup. That means how the product carton will look like, its design, its content, everything. Okay. So this mockup will be prepared by designer team, creative team, not the regulatory affairs department, because
Okay.
regulatory affairs people are not trained on designing such kind of artwork. They are regulatory
Yeah.
technical people. So creative team who are specialists in designing such kind of artworks, they also have the software
Yes.
and tools to prepare the artworks. They will mention everything on the carton, that after printing, how will the carton look like in the market when the product is sold. This is how the carton will look like. So it will
Yeah.
have the brand name, how many tablets are there, any instructions, any scan code, any logo, anything. So this is one artwork mock-up that you have to submit in the dossier. Okay. So what will
Yeah.
regulatory person do here? Regulatory person will check whether the entire content is according to US FDA's guideline or not. Okay, there are separate labeling guidelines where font size, presentation, product naming, instructions, warning, everything is mentioned. So the labeling team person within regulatory affairs will review whether the content is as per the US FDA guideline or not. Okay. Regulatory person, labeling team will not give any input on the design, that I don't like this green color, make it blue. That is marketing perspective. So marketing team
Mm.
will review the designing aspect, while the regulatory person will review the content. So there are three parties involved here: creative team who prepares this artwork, regulatory team reviews the content, and marketing team reviews the design. And this design has to be submitted in the dossier. So this is one type of labeling that you have to submit. Another
Yeah.
type,
One more question, sir.
sorry,
Sir, will this carton box will be totally exactly like how we market, or just the design we submit?
no, no, exactly it has to be same. So at
Okay.
whatever, whichever, even you have to mention the dimensions in the artwork. That this will
Yeah.
be 2 inches long, this portion will be 3 inches long, like that. This flap will be 10 centimeters or whatever, 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
So exactly the dimensions as well as font size, also the color code. These colors have different color codes according to the color chart. That also you have to mention somewhere at the bottom that this is the color code. So
Yeah.
when it will be print, it has to be exactly the same as approved by USFDA in the dossier.
Okay, sir. So, can I know the difference between the pill, the carton that we give, and the labeling according to the like what does the different departments of this regulatory team does? Because all three does the information which to be included are different. So, what exactly the information to be printed within the carton and the pill? Like who will decide and where the guidelines are? Like that I want.
That means what will be the content? Who will decide? You are saying, huh?
Sir, I'm asking basically there are three parts. I don't know what is pill, but I think it is maybe the carton or the inside the patient information leaflet which is
Yeah.
there. Uh, so based on this too, we can't directly include all the information which is in pill onto the carton. So who prepare? Are there separate departments who prepare both of these? And also, which guideline shows what information to be included in what?
Yeah. So see, first I talked about carton mockup. Second labeling document that you have to submit is the pill write-up.
Yeah, yeah,
That suppose you are a generic product or a biologic product, biosimilar product, you have to exactly copy the text as the innovator. Only change your specific company details like product name, company address, contact details, everything. Otherwise, the dosage, indication, everything has to be same as the RLD, the reference product. Okay.
yeah,
So that write-up has to be prepared in Word and PDF files, and that has to be prepared by RA department. So RA will decide
yeah,
what will come in the PIL. And suppose you
okay,
are innovator product, then there are specific guidelines within US FDA mentioning the what should be the content of the PIL. And
yeah,
the content that you are supposed in the guidance it is mentioned, you have to list down the indications. So if you are an innovator, you can list down only those indications on which you have done clinical trials.
yeah,
Suppose type 2 diabetes mellitus, then in the indication you can include only type 2 diabetes mellitus. You cannot include it reduces triglycerides or hypocholesterolemia, anything like that. So whichever clinical trials you did, that only you will include in indication. Suppose guidance says that you have to include the address of the innovator company. So regulatory affairs department will type the address of the company. What are the side effects? So based on the all the clinical trials, whatever clinical teams gives you the summary of side effects, those side effects you have to include. What will be the dosage based on your clinical trials? The regulatory affairs department will write the dosage in that particular section. So it is the
yeah.
regulatory team who will decide the content of both this carton as well as the PIL.
Okay,
Designing of carton will be done by creative team. Preparation of PIL will be done by regulatory team.
yeah. Sir, what about the guideline part? Where can I like find the reference?
Guideline.
Yeah,
Yeah, Pranav will later share with you the labeling guideline
sure.
where
Okay, sure.
where you can find out what should be the contents of PIL.
Yeah, okay, sir.
So this is the actual role of a labeling person. For generics, it is very easy. You have to copy exactly as innovator, except for your particular product related.
Manufacturer.
Yeah. So in the US, in labeling, you have to submit the carton, the PIL write-up in Word and PDF file, and you have to submit the RLD labeling. That means RLD images of PIL and carton innovators, and you have to submit this labeling PIL in XML, SPL format also. In the US, there is additional requirement. It's like, have you ever seen that on online passport website, we fill the passport form? Okay. Once
Yeah.
when we fill the passport form, it shows us drop down options and different options we have to select. Once we have done,
Yeah.
we can print it and it gives the output. Okay.
Yeah.
Similarly, SPL is a software where you have to input different labeling information like
Sir, is
uh,
that sequel?
hmm?
Like I'm unable to get the letter. Is that sequel I'm asking? SQL.
No, SPL,
SPL.
structured product labeling.
Okay, sir.
So it's like filling a form. You will enter your indications, dosage form, whatever is there in the PIL, you will fill in this form, and it will give a output, XML output, and that XML output also has to be included in the dossier module 1. So
Yeah.
labeling part of US dossier will have this carton artwork, the PIL text in PDF format, reference labeling, reference product labeling, XML PIL, XML format or SPL format. So filling that SPL form is also regulatory labeling person's job. So as you had this query that what does labeling team do? Labeling team reviews this carton artwork. Labeling team prepares the PIL Word file
Yeah.
and then converts to PDF. Labeling team also prepares the SPL. And then labeling team, after the approval, product is approved, they do the drug listing so that your drug can appear on drugs at fda.com, so that custom officer can review that and allow your shipment to enter in the US. So this is all the duties of labeling person.
Yes, Siddha. Got it.
Okay. Now going to, yeah. So this was labeling. Before we go into the next topic, I will quickly show you the purple book. Orange book I will show you in the next class. But today let me show you the purple book because it is not as extensive as the orange book. Why the name purple book and orange book? Because now there are soft copies. Traditionally they were hard copies in the USFD office. So or you can order one orange book or purple book. So the cover was orange. That's why it is known as orange book. And for purple book, the cover was purple. So suppose I search a biologic product, rituximab, in this purple book, it will give all the rituximab that are approved in the US. So you can see what is this 351A. That means these three products are innovator products. Rituxan, and then there are biosimilars also, 351K, Riabni, Ruxians, and Truxima. Okay. Suppose I open any innovator product, it gives further details, product label, okay, and which biosimilars are available in the market for this innovator, that is also mentioned. Suppose you click on the product label, it will take you to drugs@fda.com, and it will give you the entire details of rituximab innovators labels, and you can download the latest label from this link. So this is how the label, the patient information, prescribing information, sorry, PI, looks like in the US. So this is innovator product, indication and usage, dosage forms, contraindication warnings. So all this is according to the US FDA's guideline on PI, prescribing information, PI. So even if there is no contraindication, still they have to mention this category because guideline mentions it. No contraindications. Okay, this is the second page. Similarly, all pages are loading. Yeah, what are the side effects, dosage, warning and precautions, everything is there. So these first two pages will be printed and kept inside the carton for patient to read. The remaining pages are further details for a doctor or patient to check on the website. This will not be printed and put inside the carton. Only first 2-3 pages with brief information will be printed. This is known as highlights of prescribing information. While this is full prescribing information. This is available only online, not with the product. So anybody, a doctor, pharmacist, or even a patient can check the full prescribing information and know the details about the product that they are using. Okay. So this was a brief about Purple Book. Next time we will see Orange Book, which has much more details.